Good morning. You should be watching this on Tuesday, October 22nd. Today we're going to be working in Unit 4-5, Debt Management, starting on page 154. 153 doesn't have a whole lot of information, so we're going to jump right into page 154. You'll see on page 154 and 155, there are a blue box and kind of a teal box. That is the first one that we're going to be working in. I really like this unit a lot because it is a really good illustration of what can happen if you let your debt and your credit card debt get out of hand. So this is a kind of a chart way of showing what happens with your balance when you only make a minimum payment. So this chart will be used throughout, and for the quiz, you won't be provided a chart, but you will need to calculate something similar. And the chart gets you in the habit of doing it systematically over and over and over again so that you can calculate simply, right? So repetition allows you to be able to do it simplified. Okay, so if we're looking at this blue chart, it is labeled out the same way. So let's look at where their calculations are coming from, and then we will calculate it ourselves. So it starts with the month that you're looking at. Then we have our previous balance. Ugly, but works. And then we have our finance charge. And that is the interest rate, right, that they're charging you for borrowing their money. Then we have any new purchases. Our current balance. You will need this for check for understanding A, so you might as well make this chart while I am. Then we're going to have our payment, and that will give us our final balance. So now let's look at where those numbers are coming from. So the month, obviously, is the month we're looking at. The previous balance comes from the final balance of the month prior. Okay. The finance charge is calculated using APR and is going to be added in. Okay, so we have already been calculating that many times, right? It's based on the balance times the APR times the time. Okay. Then we have any new purchases that will be given to you in the problem. So those numbers together equals the current balance. Okay. Then we're going to have any payment. So in these examples, she's just paying her minimum in this blue box of 1.5%. So we would take that percentage that she's paying times the previous balance, times the current balance that we just looked at. Okay, and so current balance minus the payment will equal our final balance, and that final balance will go to the previous balance. And it just becomes a cycle. Okay, so if we're looking at example 1, she's just making her current balance minimum payment of 1.5%. And we can see that by the end of June, she's only paid off a very, very small amount. So right below that table, they're saying that the total finance charges of $25, $26.16, $27.33, $28.48, etc., is equaling out $167.39. So that's extra money that she has to pay, and she has hardly paid off any of her balance in the meantime. So at the end of the month, or end of the 6 months, she owes $2,554. And she has to pay an additional $167.39. If she didn't have to pay a finance charge, she would owe $2,600, right? But instead, they're adding that finance charge into it, and she's going to owe even more. Then as we move into the teal box, they're saying that she decided that maybe it's not a great idea to keep purchasing things on this card. So she has no new purchases, but she's still going to be incurring all of these finance charges. So we can see that by the end of December, she has a balance of $2,513.65. Okay, so she started in June with $2,554.39 minus the ending balance at the end of December of $2,513.65. She's only paid off $40.74. Okay, she has only paid off $40.74, the difference between June and December. Meanwhile, she's paid $231 in finance charges. She has paid $231 as a payment to this credit card. So to find how much she's actually paid off in a percentage, we take that $40.74 divided by 231, and we get that she's only paid off 18%. So 18% of $231 has actually gone towards actually paying off her credit card. Okay, so we're going to keep calculating this starting the next January, because it says beginning in January, Sonia decided that she's going to pay $200 as her payment each month. So right here we're going to have $200 and no new charges. Smart on her. No new charges, but she's going to have a payment of $200. And this is going to be for 6 months. So we're going to start paying in January, February, March, April, May, June. Okay, so her previous balance is going to be the $2,513.65. Okay, that comes from this final balance right here for December. Her finance charge is going to come from, let's see, it says 15%, but it's a monthly periodic rate. So if we remember, if it's a daily periodic rate, we divide by 365, but this one's only monthly. So we're going to take 15% divided by 12, because it's monthly, and we get 1.25%, or 0.0125. So we're going to take this number times 0.0125 to get our finance charge. So 2,513.65 times 0.0125. So we get $31.42. That's pretty reasonable because the last 6 months it's been around $31. So we are going to add those two together to get our current balance. So plus 2,513.65. We have our current balance of $2,545.07. Okay. Then we're going to we're going to subtract our payment to get our final balance. So we're going to get 2345.07. So she's making a pretty good dent. It's getting better because she's not having new purchases, and she's also making a pretty big payment. Okay, so we're going to then pull this number, 2345.07. Find our new finance charge, so multiply that number out, 2345.07 times 0.0125. Our new finance charge is $29.31. So it's good that it's going down. We're going to add that to our balance, 2345.07. Our new balance is, because we have no new purchases, 2347.38. Okay. Minus our payment of $200, we get 2147.38. So I'm going to keep going. You keep going too. Check your work as I continue. Okay, so hopefully all of my math is correct. I have no guarantees. If you're off a little bit in this final number, it's probably because of rounding. If you're way off, then there's a big possibility that I input a number incorrectly, but I don't have the answers in my book, so hopefully I am spot on. So this is the answer to A, the final balance. Okay. Now B is asking what percent of Sonia's payments actually went towards paying off the balance of her card. So if we're using example 2, we're first going to figure out how much she paid off in 6 months. So in 6 months, she paid off, right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, $1,200. Okay. Then we're going to figure out the amount that was actually paid off. So we started with a balance of $2,513.65. We see that up here. Okay. So we started off with that balance and we ended with this balance, $1,441.66. So the difference between those two numbers, 251365 minus 1,441.66. We ended with, okay, so these are the two numbers that we need. So we made payments of $1,200, but we only paid off $1,071.99. So we're going to divide these two numbers out. So 1,071.99 divided by 1,200 would give us a percentage of 89%. So that's actually pretty high. She was making good payments, and 89% of all of her payments were actually going towards her credit card. We can see the difference, 18% compared to 89%. Those bigger payments make a huge difference. However, in 6 months, making that big of a payment, she still has $1,400 to go. So she needs to up that payment a little bit more, and she'll be able to pay it off a lot quicker. And this is assuming that all of my math was correct, but you very well might have a completely different answer if I did it all incorrectly. So if we're moving down to this green box, it says even without making new purchases, paying only the minimum balance on a credit card will extend the payments for a long time. The table below shows you how long it will take to pay off a balance if the minimum payment of 1.5% is made on a credit card with an APR of 15. So if the percentage rate is 15% and you're only making a payment of 1.5%, it will take you 6 years to pay off a balance of $500. It'll take you 25 years to pay off a balance of $1,000, 48 years for $2,000, and all the way up to 94 years for $8,000. So you can see very, very quickly that if you get into credit card debt and you're only making that minimum payment, it can feel like you're drowning and like you can never, ever get out. And if we look, $8,000 beginning balance, you'll end up paying $45,000. It's not worth it. Be responsible with your credit card. All right, so let's keep going on page 156 and let's look at how to assess someone's debt. So how to know if people are really in a load of debt or if they're doing okay. A little bit of debt is not always the worst thing. People have to get in debt for cars, houses, student loans to get through college. Debt does happen, but if you get into too much debt, you can be in a dangerous financial position. So the way to calculate that is fairly simple, and the numbers will be given to you in the problem, but we are going to use a ratio. We're going to use the debt to income ratio. So if we think about how this is written, it really gives us the answer to how to solve it. Debt to income. It tells us exactly what we need to divide by. So we're going to do our debt payments divided by how much income we're making. The gross income, not the net income after taxes and all of that. So gross, right, before. So to find the debt to income ratio, add up all your monthly debt payments, including credit card payments, loan payments, and money spent on housing. Then divide that by the monthly gross income. So if you're married, you would look at your income of both people, not just you, but you'd also be looking at your debt payments of both people. So both credit cards, both car payments, both student loan payments, they're all classified together. So once we calculate all of those, the book will ask you to tell me if they are in a good financial position or a poor financial position. So the rates are right below that. So 36% or less is healthy. So you want about 36%. Lower is always better. 37 to 42, you should start getting rid of some of your debts. Maybe sell a car, maybe pay off your credit cards, things like that. 43 to 49, you're getting close to financial trouble, and then 50% or more. Logically speaking, if you're spending 50% or more of your income on debt, that's getting very, very high. You need to start considering getting rid of some of the debt. One extra thing that you might have to do is, if it gives you like per year, you might have to get them both to month. But let's go ahead and practice with check for understanding C. So C says Hollister earns $3,000 per month. Bam, they gave us our first number. So $3,000 is our gross income. And he pays $500 per month for housing, $50 per month for other debts. So we're going to take $550 divided by 3,000. We have an 18% debt ratio. So is that healthy? Yes, it's very, very low. He doesn't have much debt at all. So go ahead and do D on your own, and I will do it as well so you can check your answer up above. So this person has debt of 51%. So this is bad financial health. She needs to get out of some of her debt. Okay, as we look below, there's one more thing that they add in here, and that is your credit score. Credit scores are something we're going to talk about in our career portfolio day, so don't worry about it too much. It's a pretty complicated number and a pretty complicated concept, so don't worry about that yet. It doesn't ask you about it in the problems. Lastly, managing and reducing debt. You can consolidate all of your debt together so that you can just make one payment per month. It doesn't make your debt go away. It doesn't lower your interest rate usually. It's just consolidating the problem. But usually, like it says here, when people consolidate their debt, they're just like, oh, hey, let me get another credit card. And they end up in more debt in the long run. Okay, so that is all of the concepts for today. Be sure to help each other as you move through these problems. Your review will be tomorrow, and I'm going to walk you through some of the harder problems in the review. And then on Thursday will be your quiz. So make sure that you're keeping up with all of the work. There's really no excuses to fail the quiz because you can always look at these videos to study for your quiz. They'll be posted on YouTube. So your problems today are starting on page 158, number 18 through 29. All. Okay, work together, stay focused, stay respectful, and I will see you soon.